Good afternoon, everyone. We'll just give it a minute or two to let people come into the webinar before we start. Just give another second or two to let people enter. We're still waiting on a few people to join, but I think for the benefit of those that have already come onto the webinar here, I will just get started. So a warm welcome to you, and thanks for joining us at this Delivering Growth Through Wholesale webinar, and this is part of our local sourcing and supply chain project. For those of you who don't know me, I am Colin Smith, Chief Executive here at the Scottish Wholesale Association. Today is the start of a very exciting journey, a journey designed to bring the wholesale industry together and creating one of the biggest opportunities seen in our sector, creating a platform and standard language of understanding for all involved in this channel, from wholesale operators through to the producers. Now, you don't need me to tell you that wholesale is one of the biggest and most diverse routes to market for producers. That's regardless of their size and location, but is often overlooked, misunderstood, or indeed underfunded as a channel for growth. Through an SWA steering group made up of a broad representation of wholesale members, and in partnership with SAOS and Scotland Food and Drink, who are helping in its delivery, we have created this education and training programme to promote wholesale as the channel for growth. While initially designed to help local and regional Scottish producers sell through wholesale, SWA will also be using this programme to help educate and improve national producers and suppliers' understanding of our channel and how to truly capitalise on growing their business with you. As you'll hear shortly, what we have created isn't just about increasing sales for everyone concerned, but a project that fulfills and capitalises on the current trends and demands in the consumer, as well as the aims and objectives of government. That includes creating greater consumer demand for local and regional products available in retail and hospitality, Scottish Government's ambition for the creation of food system based around quality local production and a short circular local supply chain, and of course decarbonisation of the food and drink supply chain through reduced miles and decarbonisation of the distributors supplying the goods. And that ties into SWA's other big project, and that of decarbonising the wholesale industry. So now that I've hopefully whet your appetite, let me introduce you to the presenters today, and who will be talking you through a more detailed outline of how collectively we will be delivering growth through wholesale. Helen Wallace from Scotland Food and Drink will present the data trends and market insights into the local and regional marketplace. She'll be followed by Fergus Younger of SAOS, and he will talk about the project objectives. And then we've got John Forteith, who's been chair of this project, and he will give a summary of the programme content. At the end of John's presentation, we will be opening the floor to questions and answers, so a question and answer session. So please use the chat function or Q&A buttons. If any questions that we don't get answered today, we will follow up after the webinar. If you've not already noticed, we are recording the webinar, and we will be sending the links out to you and other members that can't join us here today. We urge you to share this with your colleagues, your teams, especially your buyers, your decision makers and principals within your business. So that's enough from me. If I can now hand you over to Helen.
Good afternoon, I'm Helen. I'm the UK Market Development Manager at Scotland Food and Drink. And for my sense, I'm the lead for our organisation on this project. I'm going to talk to you today about why I think you should be embracing local sourcing. Next slide. Today I've got the job of sharing some of the insight that's driven this project. I'll try not to make it death by data. First of all, I need to acknowledge my sources. So the insights that I'm presenting today have been provided by the Knowledge Bank. This is a new service and it pulls the insights across the Scotland Food and Drink Partnership. The service is password protected, but it's free to access for all businesses within the within the Scottish food and drink supply chain. So you can go to our website to find out details of how to sign up for a login and get access to the data that the Knowledge Bank provides. Through the next slides, I'm going to talk a little bit more about why we should all be embracing local and Scottish products. I'll give you an advance warning that some of the slides have got a bit of a retailer focus simply because there's more data available for that sector. But the consumer attitudes that they're demonstrating are equally relevant to food service. We're conducting some food service specific research later this year, which I think will be interesting for those of you interested in that sector. The market, Scottish Wholesale, is worth 2.9 billion. It is not to be sniffed at and will certainly be raising awareness with producers involved in this project of the size of the opportunity that wholesale, food service and convenience retail presents. The project is all about working together to address mutual blockages and help realise the opportunity. Next slide, thank you. The info on this slide comes from Scotland Food and Drink research into perceptions of Scottish provenance. It's unlikely to come as any surprise to you that price and product selection and location are the key drivers when deciding to buy local. But the availability of local products was important to nearly 3 in 5 Scots. Its importance shouldn't be underestimated. This slide looks at why local is valued by consumers. Local food and drinks considered to be of higher quality, it supports the economy and local businesses, and it's more sustainable. We've got a new round of research that's been conducted post-pandemic, which will be released in November, and it really wouldn't be surprising if supporting local economy and environmental considerations will grow in importance in the next round of information. So this slide shows you that while living through times of COVID, concern about sustainability and a willingness to act upon these concerns continue to grow. We know from the previous slide that buying local is one of the ways that consumers are trying to be more sustainable. And here you see that while 40% of Scots state that they try to buy eco-friendly products, a much more significant tranche of shoppers state that they try to buy local. So we all know that sustainability is increasingly important, but supporting local is even higher on their agenda. We saw on the last slide that 56% of shoppers try to buy local. This slide's focused on the fact that 2 in 5 believe that some degree of local sourcing is of utmost importance. And you can see on the right-hand side of the slide, there are higher levels of agreement in rural areas, amongst older and more affluent consumers and females, as well as in the north of Scotland. This slide shows that local products are valued particularly in fresh product categories. So you can see there game, fish, seafood, red meat, vegetables and soft fruit, dairy. So these areas are a really great place for businesses to start their local sourcing journey. It's important to note though that while people will seek out these particular products, less people seek out the ones lower on the chart. People still value them when they're made available. So whilst they might not be headliners, they're still a valuable part of an assortment. Right, there's loads of information on this slide. Lots of quotes from consumers. Don't worry, you don't have to read it all now. We'll be sharing the recording later with you if you're keen to get into all the detail. But to summarise in a couple of sentences here, those factors driving local purchasing. We're seeing growing support for local products during the pandemic. Awareness has increased amongst consumers. They want to support local businesses, and we anticipate this trend continuing. Now, this one is important. Our research shows that the biggest barrier to purchase of local products is availability, and that this opinion was amplified when we asked convenience shoppers. Right, this is the last slide of data. You've survived. This focuses on retail rather than food service. Scotland traditionally has a greater share of convenience and high street retail than the rest of the UK. We under-index in the online channel by 30%. So in Great Britain, online purchases make up about 13% of total food and drink market. In Scotland, this figure is about 9%, so significantly different. But in the year to the 18th of April, we showed significant growth on online food and drink purchasing in Scotland compared to the rest of Great Britain. So the pandemic's driven a massive change in behaviour. It's not all the same GB-wide. We're seeing different trends in Scotland. And it's never been more important to ensure that wholesale channels competitive with other and emerging channels, such as disruptive supply chain and e-commerce routes. Ensuring that you're supporting your customers in meeting consumer demand for local products is an important way that you can do this. So before I head off, I'm just going to go through a couple of slides on findings of the producers survey that we recently conducted. So to inform this project, as well as getting input from wholesalers and members of the SWA, we've surveyed producers. So we got responses from a variety of businesses, from multi-million pound customers to businesses to startups. Some really, really positive input on the benefits. So several common themes which should be familiar to you. So things like logistics coverage, talk of reaching remote locations outside of their local area. Some talked of UK coverage. These are seen as great benefits, and also efficiency. So the fact that wholesalers offer them one large order for them to fulfill rather than multiple smaller orders. We heard about access to smaller customers and customers that just don't want multiple direct deliveries. And also the extended reach of wholesalers' sales arm. So the fact that there was guaranteed income, quick payment. So lots and lots of positives from some of the businesses that are engaging with wholesalers. Of course, we also asked what challenges wholesale presents for their business. Poor communication was a common theme. There were multiple responses about low margins, frustration about not being able to see where the product was going, not knowing where it was sold to, a feeling that they weren't being trusted with sales data. We were hearing that they don't want to bypass the wholesaler. They want to feel part of a partnership and to help to drive sales. We got some comments about not sticking to payment terms, and that was understandably a cause of concern, particularly for smaller producers. And we also got feedback on what would most help their business, what needs to change to make wholesale viable for them. And we'll feed these into our workshop content, which you'll hear more about now from Fergus and John. So I'm going to pass you over to Fergus.
Hello, everyone. I'm Fergus Younger. I'm a project manager with SAOS, and I'm going to tell you a bit about the program that we put together. Next slide. Thank you. So yeah, so listening to what Helen's just said, responding to that opportunity and the accelerated sort of trend towards local and regional and Scottish that we've seen during the pandemic, we've come together with SAOS, the Scottish Wholesale Association, and Scotland Food and Drink to come up with this program, this project, to try the overall aim of really trying to increase the volume of Scottish regional and local products listed within the wholesale sector. To do this, we have secured some funding through the Scottish Government through their recovery programme, which is funding held through Scotland Food and Drink, and the SWA have also put funding forward to help us take forward this project. So it's very much a partnership, a joint project. And to do this, our endpoint, what we're aiming for, is a showcasing wholesale event where we're trying to bring everyone together and achieve that aim in January 22. So to get there, we have two parallel work streams, one for the wholesalers and one for the producers, really trying to educate and break down barriers and demystify the process for both parties. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for the producers, they will have a webinar similar to this that we will record and will introduce them to the program. And then a series of workshops to really try, and with case studies, we've developed a few hard case studies and a few film case studies to let people understand how the wholesale sector works. And then we're looking to do some targeted one-to-one support, some through ourselves and some linking to you guys to help producers on that journey to make sure they're ready. And then to the showcasing Meet the Buyer event in January. So yes, and the wholesaler content, today we're doing the webinar, which we will record, and we will maybe run again for those who can't attend. And then leading on from that, we're running a series of workshops to help you work with local producers and make that interaction easier. And we may come back to you beyond that to ask some of you to be involved with mentoring and helping some producers get to a point where they can attend the showcasing event in January. So yeah, so we've got these two parallel work streams for producers and wholesalers, very similar, all leading to this January 22 event. And the key sort of next dates for you to be available for are the 5th or the 6th of October for our wholesaler workshops. And then obviously leading forward to January 22 showcasing event. So now I'll hand on to John, who will explain a little bit more about the detail of the workshops and the program.
Thank you, Fergus. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is John Forteeth, and I've been working on consultancy basis with the SWA and SAOS and with Scotland Food and Drink on this project. So who is this project for? Well, the project is for wholesalers who recognise growth opportunities, but also the challenges of supplying local and regional produce. It's for wholesalers who have, but also who have not, a local regional sourcing strategy. It's relevant to the people within the business who are responsible for range development, such as the buying and marketing functions, but also those who are responsible for the strategic direction of the business, such as senior managers, directors, and also the owners of the business. So why should you get involved? Why should you come along to the workshops? Well, as we all know, we have been living in challenging and fast-changing times of late, and the trends and demands for local and regional sourced products has been steadily on the increase for a few years now. But the pandemic and also Brexit have accelerated this demand quite significantly. And whilst there are lots of producers out there who have fantastic relationships with the sector, as in the wholesale sector, perceptions and understandings of the wholesale channel by producers are not always positive, with many either misunderstanding it, having bad experiences within it, don't know how to operate within it effectively, or even worse, don't even recognise the wholesale channel as a significant channel. The demands for local and regional produce will definitely grow, as has been pointed out, and that demand will be satisfied with or without the wholesale channel. We have seen in the trade press and public press over the last number of months many references to disruptive supply chain, direct to consumer direct to end user or business, and e-commerce. But there's also other choices that producers have to spend their hard-earned investment of time and resources, such as export and the multiple channel. So the wholesale channel needs to be better positioning itself to become channel of first choice. And so encourage more producers, not less producers, to enter the channel. And as a membership collective, you have a fantastic opportunity to work closer together for mutual gain, as we have seen great examples of over these last very challenging 18 months. So the workshop has four key stages. The program has been developed working in partnership with SAOS and a cross-representative group of SWA members, with the delivery of the program being supported with partners Scotland Food and Drink. It's been designed to assist wholesalers and producers to work closer together for mutual benefit by improving understanding of each other's businesses and improving communication and ways of working. So let's look at those four key stages. So part one sets the scene and identifies the language issues and the producer's route to market options, because obviously wholesale is only but one. It highlights blockages within the typical blockages within the wholesale channel, and it looks at the benefits for you to have a local and regional procurement strategy, both in the obvious product specific sense, good products, good quality products, but also in the wider context. So part two reviews key elements of your business preparedness and highlights key typical blockages within the wholesale channel, which could and probably would hamper any effective execution of a local regional procurement strategy. It will look at some of the more sensitive areas for producers, such as pricing strategies, listing fees and other fees, and the thorny subject of communication, which Helen pointed out earlier on. It will also look at types of resource that you can utilize to execute an effective strategy. After part two, we will then have our first of two breakout sessions, with each group considering the wholesale channel and the benefits the channel can offer to producers versus other competing channels, looking at both the strengths and weaknesses of the wholesale channel. We then return to look at part 3 and 4, with parts 1 and 2 reviewing the current position. Parts 3 and 4 will look at how to move things forward, the importance of having clear joint business plans agreed with producers and within the scope and affordability of both the producer and you, and helping producers to develop stronger business-to-business relationships with you, the wholesaler, and vice versa, obviously. We'll also look at the planned SWA directory, which is being designed to aid producers identify relevant wholesalers to them, and what this means to your business and the importance of your engagement with the directory. Finally, part 4 looks at the opportunities this presents and the importance of the wholesale community working together to build continuous momentum, and looking at best ways to improve communication and sharing knowledge and best practice, creating a great channel for producers to play in, the #1 channel. You are the experts in distribution, sales and marketing, and they are the experts in products that they produce. How best can we all take local and regional producers' relationships to a new level? After part 4, we will break out for a final session, and this will be looking to start to assess your own respective businesses and identify opportunities and blockages within it, helping you to build a picture of where your gaps are or restrictions in your business that hinder developing a fantastic local regional strategy. Importantly, it will be done in such a way that is sensitive to the fact that you're in the presence of your competitors. So to summarize the key content of the workshop, it's important to note that it is designed by a cross-section of SWA wholesale members, you guys, and as a dual program with producers and wholesalers alike. It will help you understand the significant opportunities for a strong local regional sourcing strategy has to offer, the mutual benefits in growing local and regional ranges, but also a program that is very much aligned with the wider economic, environmental and social issues of the day. The workshop is valuable time out of your business, for sure, but this has been tailored to be done in half a day. So the key benefits are helping to demystify the wholesale channel for producers and obtaining a commonality in language, aiding a more strategic and focused approach to local and regional sourcing, identifying the tools that you can use, building meaningful joint business plans with your local and regional producers, identifying ways in which to deal with those competing channels, help improve and promote better communication with those producers, develop and maintain a positive long-term business relationship with them. And then ultimately preparing you as well for the Meet the Buyer event at the end of January. And there will be the opportunity for some tailored one-to-one support for those who wish it. I would also like to say and highlight there is no cost to you and your business other than your time out of your business for half a day. I'd like to thank you for your time and attending this webinar, and I hope you found it of interest. And I would actively encourage you to sign up to the planned workshops. Remember, this program has been developed by the wholesale industry and to help local regional producers in Scotland as well as you, and is being run in parallel with the producer program. I'll now hand over to Colin for any Q&A, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. I'll maybe get all the panelists back, and we're also joined by Alan Stevenson from SAOS. Hi, Alan. You were going to be fielding some of the questions, I think, if they were coming in. I saw that there was one in already. I think, Fergus, you were going to answer the question from John Murray on the fact that there is other wholesaling,
events. Yes. So yes, we maybe use confusing terminology. We have a Meet the Wholesaler event, which is an event which everyone will hopefully be able to attend, and alongside that, at similar times, there are showcasing events which Scotland Food and Drink are running. So this is a specific, what we're running at the end of January is a specific Meet the Wholesaler event. So shouldn't be confused. So yeah. You can definitely get involved with both. There's no harm in doing that, but this is a specific one.
Yeah, I think that's what John was, the other point he was making was our wholesalers going to be involved, but I think, as you said, Fergus, that it's a great opportunity to make the most of both, if that makes sense to Colin and John.
Absolutely. I think there was, and some others come through here on the private Q&A, disruptive supply chain, obviously, has been mentioned a couple of times. I know that we've spoken about this as well. I don't know, John, maybe you want to come in and, you know, what is disruptive supply chain and what does that mean for wholesalers?
Yes, thanks, Colin. Yeah, it's a term that's kind of come about in the last 6-12 months. I think it's a reaction to the challenges of COVID, lockdown, producers looking for other routes to market. In many guises, it's any way of a producer getting their product to the ultimately the consumer. So there's apps available for consolidation. Ultimately, it is wholesaling, but it's a different type of wholesaling. It could be through carriers, so promoting small one-ton vehicles, carrying 1 or 2 products to a door. So it's basically anything that is disrupting the traditional means of wholesaling, if you like, or supply chain. And obviously the wholesale sector is world-class in Scotland, I believe, and is much better suited to work with those producers if they could actually understand the sector. So this whole programme is about demystifying the wholesale sector and making it much more appealing for them, rather than going down these long-faluted and quite complicated and onerous disruptive supply chain solutions.
Yeah, and just on that, sorry, I'm just on in terms of that disruption, it doesn't do anything for the green credentials and that sustainable food and drink supply chain that we're helping to create, and hopefully that which forms into this part of this project as well. And so it's about trying to prevent the disruption and actually use the wheels that are already on the road. Sorry, Alan, you were coming in.
No, yeah, it's another question that came in and really comes to the point John was making about demystifying the process. And one of the questions is about the directory that John mentioned. And I was going to say the questioner said we have many directories out there now. I mean, do we need another one, and what makes this one different?
Yeah, I think certainly I can answer that, and John can jump in as well. The ultimate will be that it will be a filtered process, that it will be a live directory. Producer can go on to our website and then enter the details pertinent to their business and where they would like to see distribution through, which types of wholesalers, which markets they want to get into, and what will then come out at the end is the wholesalers that are able to satisfy that criteria. But there's no point in us putting a directory in place until producers understand wholesale. Otherwise, the first thing that the producer will do, I'll just go to the biggest, which won't necessarily fit their business and capabilities and won't necessarily be right for them. John, I don't know if you want to come in on that, because you've been working with us on the creation of this directory as well.
So the directory is a tool that helps the producer identify relevant wholesalers. You've all probably had those producers sitting on the other side of the desk to you who have no idea about who you are, what you do, who your customers that you service, whether you're licensed to carry alcohol, whether you have frozen capability or chill capability. So we've all been there, got the t-shirt. So part of the producer program, which is aligned to the wholesaler one, is to instill in them the importance of having a clear strategy for growth for themselves. And once they've identified the target customer that's relevant to their products, they're then able to then filter down relevant wholesalers to target those customers. So it's really taking away a lot of the wasted time that you as wholesalers have engaging with producers, but also the producer stopping wasting their time and having a much more targeted approach to relevant wholesalers.
Yeah. There's another, so wholesalers already have potentially a local and regional sourcing strategy. Is there any benefit to us in doing the workshops? Well, certainly from our point of view, I would hope that you actually do have local regional sourcing strategies in place. What we're trying to do here is actually strengthen that and actually have a common language, a common understanding across the producers that you are hopefully working with, and actually enable your strategy to grow quicker than it might otherwise do so. And it just makes sure that there's alignment across the wholesale industry, across the producers, so everyone's working and talking in the same language. Don't know if anyone else got any input to that in terms of. No. Okay. Any other? Is the program designed to be prescriptive on how you expect wholesalers to deal with suppliers and vice versa? John? I know the answer, but.
No, it's not. It's trying to extract the common languages used across the wholesale sector and explain them in simple terms. So it is very generalist in many respects, because every producer is completely different in scale, capability, and relevance to the wholesalers. And likewise, the wholesalers have their own uniquenesses themselves. So it's trying to see where there's ways that you as a wholesaler can align your business to better engage with those producers and identify some blockages that are preventing you from having an effective local sourcing strategy. but you will have, and it will be communicated to the producers in their workshops, but it is a general. So these are the types of tools that wholesalers will commonly use in helping drive your sales.
Thanks, John. Please, anyone, if you've got any other questions, please get them in now. There's another one there. Which suppliers are being targeted? I guess that's what, yeah. Which suppliers are being targeted? Who are they? I guess, Fergus, you're involved in that side of things as well.
Yeah, we've had a very broad brush approach. We're running, we've gone out with our survey of producers, and we have then gone back out to do our webinar on the 15th. So this is coming up soon. And we have recruited through the regional food groups, through all our producer contacts. So we, as broadly as we can. So for small scale producers and larger ones. So if you have people who you think who've been coming to you as wholesalers and you think, gosh, they could do with a bit of hand to get in a better place, then really try and pass them on to us, pass them on to this program, make them aware of it, and we'll do all we can to sort of ensure they can participate and get something out of it.
Absolutely, that's something I'll do as well. I'll send out a link to our wholesale members for them to pass to the producers to get them engaged and get them to sign up, certainly for the producer webinar on the 15th. I sent a memo out to our supplier members today, reminding them of the opportunity the programme provides them. So, but we need everyone to get involved. Now, I think I can't see any more questions. Sorry, Alan.
Yeah, I've got one. I think this is for Helen. When it comes to the showcasing event, how will you help target the right producer to the right wholesaler, make that marriage, that bond?
The key to getting that right is really getting the information from producers and wholesalers up front. So the more you can tell us, the better we can target those kind of meetings. But normally what would happen is we'll get the producers to put together a little biog, the same as with the wholesalers. The producers all kind of make requests as to who they'd like to have meetings with, but the ultimate decisions as to who wholesalers will meet with will lie with the wholesalers. So the wholesalers will have that final decision. But it's all about that information. The more you can tell us, the better we can match you.
Great. See, John's getting in there.
It's also important to refer back to the producer workshop. So the producer workshop will have them teed up to be quite clear in who the relevant wholesalers are. So at the Meet the Wholesaler event in January, that you should have only relevant producers sitting in front of you, and vice versa. The producer should only have relevant wholesalers to them sitting in front of them, because they would have gone through the program and it'll have much greater focus and clarity as to who they are.
Excellent. Okay. Event calendar. Yeah, sorry, I think we're all reading the question there. An event calendar. Yeah, I think that's something we collectively need to tie in with the groups on this call between SWA, Scotland Food and Drink, SAOS, in terms of calendar of different events, because it's not just about wholesale, there's also about retail, hospitality, and some of the other work streams that are going on within our organisation. So it does make sense to have a collective calendar. Yeah, Fergus.
Yeah, we do think there's a natural follow-on for the wholesalers trade show events, sort of in the timing of this program, that it will hopefully get people ready to become involved and participate. So yes, us having a full knowledge of everything that's going on from the wholesaler world, we'll use our SWA to tell us that.
Yeah.
And you mean those events are happening in, is it April, May? Is that the events you're talking about? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and then we'll probably have a conference type event. We normally have something sort of May, June time. That's still in the planning, but we certainly had Scotland Food and Drink along to our last conference and showcasing some of the products that were within the Excellence Awards. It's certainly something that was well received, and I think we'll continue to do. So hopefully that has given people an update on what we are trying to do. I'll just share the screen again. Oh, come on. So yeah, I mean, thank you to John, Helen, and Fergus for today's session, giving us more insight on how we plan on rolling out this project, educating and helping the producers enter and thrive in our sector, and hopefully deliver real growth for everyone listening here today. But clearly today is just a taster on the programme of activity and the benefits of partaking in the workshops. This is an industry-wide project, and without total sector engagement, the full benefits of the programme will not be realised. Therefore, we are asking you to share this recording with your colleagues and update them on what we're doing within the programme, and to save the date for the first of our wholesaler workshops being held on Tuesday the 5th and Wednesday the 6th of October. They are just 1 half-day workshops, but we're giving you 2 opportunities to attend. Registration details will be sent out soon. We also ask that you save that date for the Meet the Wholesaler event that we're proposing on the 25th or the 26th of January. Again, dates to be confirmed. But certainly, as I bring this webinar to a close, I would like to thank you all for joining us here today, and look forward to seeing you all at the forthcoming workshops. Thank you very much.